my brother just put this mindset into me when I was younger, and it was just kind of like, okay, he grew up in Hoover, he grew up in the same house as me. If he can do it, then why can't I do it? And and it wasn't that easy, it was really tough, but that's what I believed, and he was my hero and my idol, and anything he told me, I believed I could do. I think it's really easy to work hard. I mean, anybody can go in and put in 15 hours a day. That's just like a want type thing. But what I think my family did really well, and what my brother instilled into me, is to work smart. And where are you pulling your information from? Where are you, who are you listening to? So, whenever I was in the gym and could grab information or ask questions to people that were doing what I wanted to do, I would do that. And, I tried to mimic, all the guys overseas in the NBA and, just really work in the most efficient and correct way to get better. And I would say over anything, I think I worked smart. And back then when I was in 9th grade, it was just dreams that I really wasn't sure if I could reach. It was just like big brother doing it, so I wanted to do it. And then, once you fast forward, I got to do all that stuff. The number one thing is ask questions and look to the people who've done it before you, and look to the people who are where you want to be at. Relax and enjoy it. It's a game at the end of the day, and something you love to do. Just enjoy it, and take it all in and have fun. So when I came back from Belgium, I think that summer is when I found out my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And it was crazy because she was feeling sick for like 6 months, and then we took her to the hospital, and we were relieved because they said it wasn't cancer. And then it comes back, they end up saying that she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And so I found out about that like 2 weeks before I had to leave to go to play in Ukraine. And for a lot of people, they say that's basically a death sentence if you can't cut it out. And it was wrapped around her vein, so it looked like chances were like slim to none for her to survive that. And I remember, before I left for Ukraine, that was like one of the hardest days, like, because I didn't know if she would pass, within a month or two. They say people can die a month after pancreatic cancer. You don't know. So I was almost late for my flight to Ukraine because I couldn't leave her. She was in bed, already started chemo and stuff like that. And I remember we were just like holding on to each other before I left. And, I was telling her, like, just try to be strong, it's, you can beat this, all that kind of stuff. And I remember we were crying and stuff like that. And, I left the room, and I came back in 3 or 4 times. I couldn't leave her because, I thought that was gonna be the last time I saw her. And, but I played, she survived through that whole year. I played the whole year in Ukraine, and that was probably the toughest part for me, is not being able to be with her while she was going through all this. It was, I was having to hear about it and see pictures of her, losing weight and hair coming out and stuff like that. And, it was tough. It was really tough being away, during this time. I wanted to be there with her and, help her through it. But anyway, I got through that season and, was able to come back home. And by the time I came back home, she was like in pretty rough shape, like real thin, and, hair was completely gone and stuff like that. And, give me one second. And, so when I got back home, You know, I spent a pretty good summer with her, but by the time I was leaving for Italy, you know, she was kind of in bad shape, and I think I left for Italy in August, and she had passed in September before my season started. So, you know, and I hated not being, you know, that was one of my biggest regrets was like not being with her in her last days, you know. And but I was able to fly home for the funeral and stuff like that. Sorry. I ain't even told that story ever. Yeah. No, we're good. My bad. I ain't really talk about it before. All right. But yeah, so that was the toughest part for me was not being there with her. You know, I was having to, you know, hear from my brothers and sisters and just getting updates, and I'm overseas, and that just kind of killed me not being there, you know, with her in her last days. But when she passed, you know, I was able to come home for the funeral and stuff, and you know, so did the funeral and then came back, and you know, that was probably the best year of my career, and I kind of, you know, dedicated that to her because she knew I wanted to play in Italy, and you know, that was my dream. So, and she used to always watch every game I played from back home, even when I was overseas. You know, she would get the logins and do whatever to watch my games. So, you know, I remember dedicating that season to her, and you know, I know she would have been proud. You know. I would say her at our games. You know, she was the loudest one there, and you know, I do miss, you know, because my brothers are hard on me sometimes when I have bad games. You know, I call them and they're, come on, you got to do this. But, you know, my mom was always there to, she was always had something positive to say after games. So if I didn't want to talk to my brothers or with my dad or somebody and I needed somebody to say something positive to me, you know, I would call her. So I do miss having her, you know, around for that when there's tough games and stuff like that, because you know, she used to always make me feel better after tough game.